Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we'll be talking about the film Civil War. Fun fact, this film was released on April 12th, 2024. And you know what else was on April 12th? The start of the American Civil War 163 years prior. This film came out in 2024 and stars Kirsten Dunst, Wagner Moura, and Cailee Spaeny, and was directed by Alex Garland. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Civil War follows photographer Lee and reporter Joel, who are on a mission to interview the President of the United States during a civil war between the Western forces of California and Texas and the rest of the U.S. Lee's mentor, Sammy, and wannabe photographer Jesse tags along for a ride that they will not forget. Civil War is a dystopian war film. It has similar vibes to The Last of Us, City of God, or Handmaid's Tale. From the trailer, I honestly wasn't sold, but there was a lot of hype around the movie, so I went to see it, and my expectations were completely exceeded. From the trailer, I thought this would be more political and something building off the division in America right now, but the film is not that. The beginning of the film really sets the tone for the movie, and in that scene and throughout the movie, I found myself so invested that I didn't realize that my mouth was open while I was watching the movie. Kirsten Dunst leads this movie, and she was so good as Lee, who clearly has seen a lot, and Kirsten did a great job of showing her emotions on her face. As the movie goes on, we see how being a war photographer is rough for her, and after Sammy's death, we see how that is her final straw, and we start seeing signs of PTSD surfacing. I'm sad that in the end she risked her life to save Jesse, who was almost killed because she was being a little reckless. Sammy was a character who I just really enjoyed in this movie, played by Stephen McKinley Henderson. He was Lee's mentor and was the person who kind of kept the peace between everyone. He's also the reason they're still alive, considering he saved the group from those corrupt soldiers, which was one of the most stressful scenes in the film. I was sad that he died, and even sadder that Lee had to clean up his blood from the car and just keep pushing. But hey, I guess that's war for you. Throughout the film, we see Lee being a mentor to Jessie, and it seems like she was going to be her replacement. I don't know if this was intentional, but Jessie talks about how she is from Missouri and Lee is from Colorado early in the film. Missouri is called the Show Me State, and some researchers believe it's in reference to miners who were taken to Colorado from Missouri to replace striking workers. Since the miners were unfamiliar with the Colorado mines, they had to be constantly shown what to do. This could be a coincidence, but throughout the movie, we see how Lee is constantly telling Jesse how to not only take better photos, but that not every photo is going to be good, and how to take photos while staying safe. Even though her actions lead to Lee getting killed, I think she helped Lee remember that there are some people out there who still find happiness even though the country has gone to shit. I liked how Joel was so set on getting a quote from the president before he died. Throughout the film, he helped keep Jessie alive by guiding her, and he seemed to be the most relaxed in the group considering what they were going through. Jesse Plemons had such a small role in this film, like, you don't even really know his character's name. But it had me shook and showed how some people in war implement their own version of justice when no one is watching. He was asking questions, but you really didn't know what the right answer was, and I truly think he would have killed them all if Sammy didn't come and save them. It was great that they didn't distinguish who was who in the war or really tell you the views of the character. These media professionals were shown as just kind of a neutral party who wanted to document what was going on in this moment in time. Usually in films with different sides, the outfits help distinguish the different sides, but not in this film. We do learn small hints about the president, like he's abusing power and doesn't want to talk to journalists and is on his third term, but they don't dive too deep into the reasons behind all that. When we meet other people who are involved in this war, We do not really know what side they're on. And a perfect example is when Joel was asking the soldiers what their mission was, so he could kind of get a gauge on what side they were on. And the soldiers said to survive. There's a guy shooting at us, and my goal is to kill him so I can survive. I feel like throughout the movie, we are reminded of the fact that which side people are on is a part of the story, but not the main story he wants to tell. Garland gives you some information, and from there, you kind of just make your own assumptions. I feel like this is important to note because in life, if you ever view situations like these where there are disagreements, you should figure out which side you align with more and not look for someone to tell you. Just form your own ideas. The film itself was very intense and had me on the edge of my seat. Some parts felt like a video game with these small missions to get to the final boss, which in this instance will be the president. But the mission isn't to kill anyone, it's just to survive and document. Following non combatants really showed how the war was affecting everyone and how the simple task of driving puts everyone on edge. The way that the US looked so vacant kind of reminded me of a zombie apocalypse because that's literally how they always show the world, vacant and half destroyed. Even the town that was under the guise that they were normal wasn't really normal and had an armed militia keeping tabs on the safety of its citizens. I'm glad that they showed some of the photos that these photographers took. When I was looking at them, I was like, wow, these are the photos you would see in like history books years later to commemorate this event. It also showed the importance because sometimes people need visual representations to see just really, how bad it really was and that it should not happen again. I think my favorite part of the film was how they decided to edit the film. There were so many scenes where it would be fairly quiet and then they would cut to the action and it would just be so loud. And then in the middle of that, they would cut to a quiet scene of a photo that someone just took. Doing this made me jump a couple of times, but I did enjoy them deciding to edit the film in this way, which made me as a viewer feel like I was on the front lines. I think it was a great way to distinguish that sometimes it's chill and sometimes it's really not, and your heart will be racing, and you're trying to capture a photo without getting killed by the gunfire that's coming in all different directions. And just because you aren't the target doesn't mean that it's less scary. There were also a lot of over the head shots as if an eagle was filming, which was a cool way to show um, basically a wide lay of the land and helped us ensure that the viewer grasped how dystopian the world looked. I just think that the film did a good job with all aspects of editing to further immerse the viewer and have them feeling like they were in the film too. Civil War was a great film that made the time fly because I was so invested. The cast was great, and the story is one that might have you thinking, would we really be in shambles if a civil war was going on in America? Probably. But the movie just makes you think about it a little bit more. Thank you for watching my video. I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. If you haven't subscribed, please do so you can keep up to date with more of my videos. But besides that, everyone stay safe, have fun, and goodbye.